Hey everyone, today we are launching the version control feature that actually helps you to keep track of the changes made to the workflows and migrate them to production environment. So let's dive in and take a look at the version control feature. I've created an Engagespot account and I have two environments here. So one is the development environment and then the production environment. Okay, now let's create a new workflow in the development environment. Right. Now we will add the in-app step and let's type something like okay, let's save it. Okay, now we have saved this workflow, but if you try to send this workflow, trigger this workflow, you won't be able to do that because the workflow has not been published yet. You can see that here the workflow is not still been shown here. So if you go to the version control menu, you can see that there is this workflow here. The new workflow that we just created is in the unpublished tab. So that means the changes that we made to this workflow is has not been published yet to the development environment. So we can publish that here by clicking the publish button. First, let's select this, then click the publish button, and we can include a message saying, okay, publishing workflow 1, something like that. Click publish, and you can see that the changes have been published. You can see the change here. The workflow has been published here, but the changes has not been migrated to the the production environment. But you can still test it in the development environment. If you go here, click on send workflow notification. Yeah, now we can choose the test workflow here. Click on send notification. You can see, okay, now I've created two apps to demonstrate the development environment and the production environment. So this is the development environment. You can see the notification has arrived. So that means the workflow has been published in the development environment. Okay, now let's go to the production environment, and if you go to the workflows, you can see that there are no workflows in the production environment because that has not been migrated from the development environment. So let's go back to the development environment and go to the version control, publish changes. Okay, now let's migrate these changes to production. So click on the migrate button and choose production as the target environment. Click on migrate. Okay, now you can see that the workflows and all the changes that were not migrated have been now migrated to the production environment. Now let's again switch to production, and you can see that the workflow has been migrated to the production environment. Let's trigger the workflow from production user 001 test workflow. Click on send button. Yep, now you can see that the same workflow have been published in production, and you can use that in production. Okay, now there is one more method using which you can migrate and publish these changes. So currently what we did was like we used the Engagespot console to do these changes, but there is another option called the Engagespot CLI. So if you use the CLI, you can directly publish and migrate these changes. So let's see if the CLI is activated. Yes, now you can see that the CLI is properly connected to the test workspace, which you can see here. This is our test workspace. Okay, now go back to the development environment and make some edits to the test workflow. Okay, let's change the content of this in-app message. Edited and click save. Okay, now the workflow has been saved but has not been published. That means if you send the notification I mean, if you send the test workflow now, you won't be able to see the changes. You will still get the previous message because the changes has not been published in the development environment. Okay, now we can see here, if you type this command Engagespot change publish. Sorry, we need to include the message here. Edited workflow 1. Okay, now we can see that the changes have been published. And now if we trigger the same workflow, you will see the new version of the same workflow. See, you can see the changes have been applied, but we haven't migrated the changes to production. So if you go to the version control and click on publish changes, you can see that the changes here, it is live in the development environment, but it has not been migrated to production. So you can do that here by running the migrate command, change migrate from development to production. Oops. We missed to add the code here. Yep, and you can see the changes successfully migrated from development to production. Okay, now let's go to the production environment, and you can, in the version control, you can see that this particular change have been migrated to production. And if you send the notification here in the production environment, you can see that the changes have been automatically migrated. Yep, so that's how we can manage the versions of workflows. And now let's say you want to revert the change that you just made. So for example, let's go back to development, version control, publish changes. Okay, so this change, this particular edit that you have made to this workflow, you want to revert or you want to undo the changes. So that's easy. Let's click on this revert changes button and click on revert. Okay, now it has been added as a new change. That means the change with the previous change removed. So if we try to trigger this workflow here, so the changes will get published in the development environment, but if you go to the production environment, it won't be published. So now you want to migrate the change again to the production. So let's go ahead and click on migrate. Okay, now the changes have been migrated to production. Now if we go here, production test workflow, sorry, version control, yeah, the reverted changes have been published back to production. So that's also migrated. So this is how you can manage the changes that you make to the workflows. Like you can undo the changes, you can migrate the changes with one click through the console, or using the Engagespot CLI, so which enables you to integrate Engagespot in your CI/CD pipeline. For example, in your DevOps process, when you publish, when you deploy some changes from staging to production, you just have to run Engagespot change migrate, and all the changes that you have done in your staging will be automatically promoted and migrated to production. So yeah, that's it.